Welcome, everybody, to an exclusive special edition of the Sheriff Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very rare that a professional athlete gets the opportunity to compete on different levels with another player on the same team. Ladies and gentlemen, when this trend happens with another player on 3 different levels, it becomes very, very interesting. My guest tonight was my teammate on the Kitchener Rangers of the OHL, the Rochester Americans of the American Hockey League, and of course, the legendary Buffalo Sabres of the National Hockey League. My guest today was a phenom hailing from Rockland, Ontario. He would come to the Kitchener Rangers and not only lead the team in scoring, ladies and gentlemen, but he would capture the OHL Rookie of the Year award. He would then captain the Kitchener Rangers, ladies and gentlemen, and lead the Rangers to an OHL championship in 2003, as well as a Mem Cup championship. And ladies and gentlemen, this Mr. Derek Roy was the Mem Cup MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, I just gave it away. Without further ado, Mr. Derek Roy, how are you doing tonight, my man?
Good, buddy. You sound so excited. I love it. It's amazing.
Well, buddy, how can I not be excited, man? I got one of my buddies that, Royce, honestly, I'm putting you on the spot. How long has it been since we've talked?
Yeah,
probably 15, I would say 15 years, bro.
Yeah, about 15 years, and we didn't miss a beat.
We didn't miss a beat, bro. And honestly, Royce, you look, like we were saying before the recording, you look exactly the same, buddy, as you did when you were 16 years old. And you came to Kitchener. And, bro, I remember getting traded there from Sarnia. And this was like a turning point in my career, Rosie, and you're a big part of it. So I got to tell you this now that I have you on my show. When I got to the Kitchener Rangers, I'll be honest with my listeners, I wasn't very confident as a hockey player. Mark Hunter gave me any confidence that I had, but he got fired, bro, at Christmas time. And that was part of why I got traded to you guys. So, but there was like a 2-3 week time frame where Huntz wasn't there. The guy that took over, I don't think he really liked me. And you know how it is, Royce, in your first year, it's easy to get down on yourself, bro. You have nothing to kind of look at to say, oh, well, last year I bounced back. No, this is the first time that we went through something like that. And buddy, I come to your team. I remember you coming right up to me, giving me a big handshake, welcoming me to the team. There was so many of us. Remember Dickie and Gagnon and Army? Remember all those guys, man? We had a big rookie group, man. All of us, right?
One was like 17 or 16, and a couple of guys were 18. And so we had a great tight group gelled together real quick. And yeah, it was fun, man. I loved every minute of junior was awesome. And when you came to our team, you added a lot of toughness, not even a little toughness, a lot of toughness. A really tough team that our first year. And it was great, man. We had a blast here. Those guys, we had a blast. It was great.
Who was it, Rosie? It was Mike Mazuka, Andrew Peters, right?
You,
and then Mike Amadeo.
Yeah, we had some big Ryan Milanovic.
Yeah. Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, man, we're going to get to the Kitchener Rangers. This is where I want to go with you because I know that you're a busy man and I want to try to get as much in as possible. I want to go to the beginnings, bro. I want to go to Rockland, Ontario. Now, trust me, when I would look up our program and it would always be featured you, dude, because you were always leading the team in scoring in Kitchener. Here I am saying we're not going to talk about Kitchener. And it would say Rockland, Ontario. And I was like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. Was it cool, Derek Roy? What was it like in Rockland, buddy?
So we grew up my first 5-6 years in Orleans, and that's kind of just outside of Ottawa. And then so my parents moved to Clarence Creek, Rockland. It's called Clarence Rockland now. So it's two little. And I think there was maybe less than 1,000 people in Clarence Creek, 800 people, maybe once. Not even a stoplight, just a flashing red light, a church and a hockey school, or a hockey rink and a school. So that was about it. And I went to school there till 8th grade, and then I went to Rockland at university or high school there, French high school. Yeah. And I think there was about 9,000 people in Rockland when I was growing up. So came from some very, very small towns. And then, we try to go into Ottawa as much as we can to try to enjoy it. But moving to Kitchener was such a big deal because I was living the country. There was not much going on. Like my next door neighbor was a farmer, so there was not much people around me. So moving to Kitchener was shocking to me, and it was tough early on. But like I said, like we had such a good core group of guys and stuff like that, and everyone felt welcome, and I just felt at home right away.
Right on. And I appreciate you sharing all that, buddy. So now you say like how small of a town it was. Now, Royce, like I know that your brother was also a really good hockey player as well, right? So now growing up, well, first of all, is there more siblings? Do you have a sister? Do you have another brother?
Yeah, so I'm a middle child. I have two brothers, older
Really?
brother. Yeah.
So there's an older Royce and a younger Royce, and then Royce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Okay, so I know. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Derek. Go ahead.
My older brother are tighter in age, so we battled it out a lot, growing up. My other brother's 6 years younger, so there's a little bit more of a gap there. But me and my brother RJ, we just battled out every time we could. And then when Scotty came along, our younger brother, we almost put him in net and stuff like that, and put the pads on him and body check him in the wall. So we kind of treated him a little bit, hit him and the little brother kind of role, So, but growing up with two brothers was great, and we always had a blast. We're always playing different games, no matter if it's baseball, hockey, soccer, whatever it is. We're playing it, and it was fun growing up.
So now you said that you and your older brother. Okay, so first of all, what are their names again, Royce? So your older brother's name is
RJ and Scotty.
And then RJ and
Scott, yeah.
And Scott?
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, so you and RJ are how many years apart?
1.
Okay, so you're just 1 year apart. Okay, so now the reason why, what I'm getting at here is a trend that I see with a lot of my guests that are obviously extremely good athletes, very competitive, have a lot of drive. They usually have a sibling that really pushed them, right? And like a lot of them, it would be a sibling that's like more like years than you and RJ are apart. And then that way, like they're like 3-4 years older. And then, you have to compete with them and all their friends 3-4 years older. So now, but RJ just being a year apart, that must have been a lot of competition, which would have created its own like level of competition, right? On its own level.
Yeah, because sometimes like we played, like, how novice is like you play
the 2 years,
9 year, and then Adam the same, and sometimes you can go on and on. And sometimes I played with RJ, growing up. So those are all, and a year makes such a huge difference, and that it makes such a huge difference. So like I think in novice, I was the only younger player to play up with all the other guys. And then I was getting like pushed around and no ice time and everything like that. So I was always trying to like get to that spot to be able to play with those guys. So every year I was catch up. So when you do that for your whole life, I guess then things come easier.
So now RJ, is he the same position as you, or you guys are both centers?
Yeah, I think he started like center or wing, and then he moved back to D, and then my younger brother played D as well. So,
right on.
The lack of scoring, I don't know. I think he was a big scorer growing up, and then I think later on he kind of just went to play defense. So, I just try to put the puck in the back of the net as much as I can. I felt like that was my job as a forward.
Yeah, dude. So okay, so now what about mom and dad? What about pops? Did he play at all, Mr. Roy?
Yeah, he played growing up, like junior B and everything, and
really?
Even got a tryout, I think, with the California Golden Seals.
No way.
Yeah, I think he tried out, and then I think he got cut, and then he just retired. That was it. I think back in the day, my dad's like a little bit shorter than, and I'm only 5. I'm not even 5'9", like almost 5'9". So he's even smaller than me. So back in the day, how it was. Just big.
Yeah, man. Yeah, back in the day,
there was only a handful of small players in the league, like the Dino Cicerellis and guys like that. There was not many of those guys, and now it's trending a little bit more smaller, even, guys like Mark St. Louis or whatever, like paved the way, like guys like
like Theo, you, buddy, like you.
Or it was maybe, but
Royce, come on, man. You did that too, buddy. You got to give yourself some credit. Like I know you're being modest and I appreciate it. Like you're being humble, but trust me, buddy, just so you can hear from someone else. Derek Roy, buddy, you were so exciting. Okay, let's use Buffalo as an example. You were so exciting in Buffalo that Royce, I remember being in Rochester, seeing like a promotional video for the playoffs, let's say. And like Cunny wanted to fire us up and wanted to show us the promotional video because, a lot of the boys from last year's team, like were on the Sabres this year. So we're watching like a promotional video and bro, they would show you like getting tripped, you're on your butt, and then you like stick handle while you're on one knee and you stick handle around three guys and then come back up and then feed Vanek and he scores. Like you were like, did some sensational things, bro. And I bet you motivated a lot of kids that were undersized, right? That were considered small players to really have confidence and say like, yo, if Derek Roy is a superstar for the Buffalo Sabres, so can I. Like,
yeah, if I did that, that was, my goal was to try to, get some youth, smaller guys like myself, try to make it into the NHL or even the OHL or whatever you're going to do, go to university, even if it paves the way, at a university and get a job and whatnot. And, there's always different avenues. Maybe you play in Europe, maybe you do different, but it's, having trust in yourself, believing in yourself, doesn't matter how tall you are, as long as you work harder than the other person, then, good things are going to happen for you.
100%, buddy. I love the way you said that too. The listeners, I hope you guys are paying attention because this is one of our smarter guests and he has a lot of wisdom to pass along to us. So, buddy, you mentioned the OHL. Now we got to get into it, Royce, man. Dude, so before you got drafted by Kitchener, did you know you were going to Kitchener? Like, did they show like a lot of interest in you before the draft?
Yeah. So Jamie McDonald was friends with friends of the family. Well, he was coaching my older brother, RJ, and throughout growing up. So I would always get called up to those teams and play in tournaments and such. And
hold on, Brushy, I got to interrupt you. Jamie McDonald was RJ's coach growing up?
Yeah. So our GM in Kitchener was the coach, brother growing up. So he's obviously seen play a million times. So he really wanted me on the team. He felt like I could help the team a lot in certain areas, especially scoring or setting up plays. So he told my dad, like, don't worry, we'll get him here. And once he gets here, we're going to, he's going to play a lot and I'm going to put him on the power play. And he was true man to his word. I went right there playing and I had a really good first year because I was put in a spot where I can succeed and I, didn't want to let it go. So once I get that spot, I'm not giving up my spot anymore. And that was it.
So, okay, Royce, so just for the listeners, so we're doing like a timeline here. So now it's the first year in the Ontario Hockey League. So ladies and gentlemen, Derek Roy comes to Kitchener. I believe it was a 68 game season. It says 66 games played. So this guy plays like every game of the season. 34 goals, 53 assists, 87 points to lead the team in scoring. 44 PIMs, so a respectable physical side to him as well. Right?
Couple a year, yeah.
Right, Rosie? So, okay, buddy, this is phenomenal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even started to talk about, we mentioned led the team in scoring, but he also won Rookie of the Year in the Ontario Hockey League, which is an incredible honor, Royce, eh? Like that must have been like to that point of your life, because it was before the NHL draft and whatnot. That was probably one of the bigger accomplishments, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. I think, going into the season, I had no idea how it was going to, like, cause you're used to, I was playing Bantam. So I was playing against guys my age at 15 years old. Right. So I never really got a taste. I went to a few training camps in junior A, but I've never really got the taste of playing like a season junior. So my dad literally put me in like boxing lessons that summer. Cause he's like, what, Barry Brennan, the boxer in Ottawa. So he had like a camp. So I would go there a couple times a week and train with boxing. And I think it was like 3 or 4. And then just in case like ever I got in a fight, but also it was like cardio and lifting weights. It was a full thing. So, when I got to, it gave me a little bit of confidence. Like I built up a little muscle. I was only 15, like I was like 155 pounds or something. So, it gave me a little bit more muscle, gave me a little bit more confidence going into the season, a little more strength. And and I had a good training camp, and that kind of just led into, once I had a few goals in training camp, one of the games, I was like, all right, I can play in this league. I felt I had that confidence to take the next level. And then the season started off great. And for me personally as a player, and I just kept getting more and more confident as the season went on.
Yeah, dude. And you were so young, because like, you're a May baby, right? So you were 16 until the playoffs. That you didn't turn 17 until like the end of the season that first year, right? So you were a 16-year-old doing all this stuff, buddy. That's really, really impressive. Almost 100 points, Royce.
Yeah.
As a 16-year-old, like
going to high school all day and then going to practice after high school.
But like, okay, so man, your career is just so incredible, buddy. I could talk with you about Kitchener. We could have our own episode just talking about the Kitchener Rangers. But listen, I want to get like the most important things that I think is. So let's talk about winning the OHL championship. Let's talk about getting the captaincy. Now, was that all the same season, or were you the captain for a couple years leading to the Mem Cup champ?
No, that was all the same season. I think my second year I might have got an A, and my third year was an A. And then my last year, I was coming down from training camp with the Sabres. I played maybe like 7 or 8 preseason games with the Sabres.
Yeah, you were the last cut, right?
Yeah. But I missed a bunch of games. I think I missed like 5-6 games for the OHL already, just to start off the season. So when I got there, team was just doing okay. I think they were 500, maybe a little below 500, and Pete DeBoer asked me if I wanted to see, and Richards had. So I was like, hey, like I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. And then he was just like, hey, do you want the C or not? Like, you're straight up, C or not? And I was like, yes, I do. Like I felt like I needed it to lead the team to win. I felt like I needed to have it for us to win, and I truly believe that. And I mean, it worked out. So I hope nobody's mad that I took it. Hopefully Richie's not.
Did it ever work out, Derek Roy? Like, you guys won the OHL championship, and like there almost seems to be like who was host? Were you guys host? Is that when you guys hosted it too?
No, that was a few years after Quebec City hosted.
So where was it? Where was the Mem Cup?
Quebec City. It was the Ramparts were hosting it.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Patrick Waugh, the coach?
No, I think he was GM or something at the time.
But he was there.
Yeah, he was there.
Presence is enough. Doesn't matter what he's doing.
Yeah, I think his son was on the team. He's a goalie on the team. But we won the OHL championship in our building, and that was something special, because when you can win it in your building in front of your fans, it's so great. And I was playing against Ottawa, a team that I grew up watching too.
Way, Royce. Yeah.
Holy. Kind of like story thing.
And this is right
on one of the game days, so it's kind of like surreal, almost like, for a hockey player out of a fairy book, hockey tale, I guess.
That's probably the closest you can get to it, dude. And this is right before you turn pro. This is the season right before, right?
Yeah. And then you have another step. You know how it is. Like, after you're done junior, that step to go pro is something else. Like, you go from Bantam to junior to OHL, and then you go from OHL to NHL. You got that's like a complete different step. And then there's another step from AHL to NHL. So it's like you're making these strides in your life, and you're not even realizing you're doing it at the time, but you're just like looking at how fast guys are, how strong they are, how hard they shoot the puck, and you're like, well, I'm not even close to these guys. I got to go back and work on my game, right? So I felt like every time I was getting knocked back down, and then I had to like build it back up. And every time I took a big step, I'd get knocked back down. I had to play up to that level or even higher, and that's what kind of keeps you going.
And thank you for sharing that. I love that you're on this topic, because there's a couple things that I need to hear from you, and the listeners need to hear from you, because, I mean, Rosie, I've had guys like Razor on the show. I've had Matthew Barnaby on the show. I'm hoping that I don't forget. I've had Jean-Luc Grandpierre on the show. I've had a few Buffalo Sabres on the show. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, What I usually say to them is, especially after a season like last year, this year, I really respected the way the Buffalo Sabres organization went, the direction that they went into. Now, last year, that was a hard year, man. That was a hard year for Buffalo Sabres alumni, for the current people, for fans, for everybody. It was very difficult, Royce. The team not doing well, the team losing the amount that they're losing. Now, this is what I saw. I saw the rest of the league looking at Buffalo, seeing their struggles, seeing the Eichel fiasco, and not putting respect on the Sabres name. I don't feel that the Sabres organization, that Buffalo has been getting the respect that they deserve because of the troubles in the win-loss record and the Eichel situation the last 5 years. So when I had Razor on, and I'll be quick with this because I really want to hear from you. When I had Razor on, Barnaby, I'm like, can you explain how incredible that Buffalo Sabres organization is? Can you talk about how big of a hockey town Buffalo, the city of Buffalo really is, and how passionate those Sabre fans is, and Rick Jeanneret and Jim Pizzatelli forever, and all the culture, Don Luce, all the culture. It's next to none. And I try to explain to people, Royce, that Montreal, Toronto have a rivalry, but I don't even think it compared to the Buffalo Sabres, Toronto Maple Leafs rivalry in the years that we were there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Can you comment on some of that? I know I fucking just named off 10 things, but let's start with the city of Buffalo, man.
Oh, I love the city of Buffalo. I married a Buffalo girl. My brother married.
Is that where she's from?
Yeah,
Your beautiful wife, Royce, man.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of you, buddy.
We love the city, but we go back. Her family lives there, and we love going back. I still got tons of friends down there. Everyone's so nice. Like you said, they love hockey or football. They're such passionate fans, and the problem is the fact that if you lose 10 seasons in a row and you don't make the playoffs 10 years in a row, people start looking at, okay, there's got to be a problem, right? There's got to be something going on behind the scenes, and that's what I'm guessing that people are saying, because usually teams, if you have a couple of bad years, usually bounce back and you're back in the playoffs, right? There's half the teams make the playoffs, more than half the teams for that amount of years.
Yeah, 16 out of 30 for a long time.
Yeah, so you're looking at, you just got to be better than half the teams, and if you can't do that 10 years in a row, then the last goal, the Buffalo Sabres playoff goal, was I assisted on it.
Yeah.
Oh, long ago.
Palmer's?
It was in the playoff game 7 against I think it was Stafford or somebody scored. It was game 7 against Philadelphia. And I came back from an injury. But that was, I don't know, 10, 11, I don't even know how long ago it was. It's so crazy. So it's it's kind of I can see how fans are getting frustrated. And I can see how people are pointing the finger, or people are saying it's a bad organization because, this team never makes the playoffs. So you start falling into these categories where other teams are in, where they're teams like Phoenix or something that hasn't made the playoffs in years. So they're saying something's got to be wrong or whatever, or bad management or something, but everything could be going completely right in the right way. It's just
bad luck,
bad luck or cards. But at some point you got to say, hey, listen, it's not bad luck anymore, right? It's the same thing in winning. Everyone says oh, you could have got a penalty here, or we could have got a score on hit the post or something. And my theory is nobody cares. Work harder. That's one of the sayings. Nobody cares. Don't say who cares? Just work harder. There's no everyone hits the post once in a while. Everyone misses a breakaway. You know what I mean? Everyone gets a bad call from the ref. It's how you deal with it. So that's my theory, and I don't know, that's how I played the game. And I always thought that if I wasn't scoring or if something wasn't going well, it's because I wasn't working hard enough.
And that's a good way to always be, because you're always striving to be better. Now, do you believe that this year the Sabres have shown promise? They've shown that they have players there that want to be there. Back to the days of Derek Roy, Jason Pominville, Thomas Vanek, Paul Gosted, the Goose.
Yeah. I think what
you guys all wanted to be there, Royce.
I think they did a great job on getting players that wanted to be there and want to make a difference. And I just remember our practices. We were so competitive. It was so crazy out there. Like we were all around the same age. It's kind of like Kitchener. We were all around the same age, and we all came up together. We had like 10 guys come up from Rochester, like Palmville, Vanek, Miller, Thorburn, Paye. We had
Nathan Page.
Pager. Yeah, we had so many guys, right? So we all kind of came up like within a year or two from each other, and it became like so competitive at practice. Everyone wanted to be there because everyone said like, hey, listen, if I don't play well, this guy's going to play better than me and he's going to take my spot. You know what I mean? Like everyone wanted to play. Like you should want to play in the NHL. I don't care what team you're on or where you're at or what you're doing. Everyone should want to be itching to get on the ice. And that's how I always felt like, hey man, like I want to be on the ice for 60 minutes. I know it's obviously not possible, but I always wanted to be on the ice to make a difference, at any point in the game. And when I wasn't, I was mad, and I would try to work hard in practice the next day just to, prove the fact that I deserve to be there, or I deserve to be on the ice.
Yeah, man, 100%. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I think they're trending in a great direction. I think they're made a few moves and made a few good trades and made some great draft picks. That Power is going to be a great player. So like, you're trending in the right direction, making moves like that and getting people that want to be there. And if those players that want to be there lead the right way, they're going to lead the right way, and people are going to follow. That's what's going to happen.
I agree. I 100% agree. Royce, one of the most incredible parts of the beginning of your pro story is the fact that when you came to Rochester, like things similar to Kitchener, you got to a new level and you started lighting it up, bro. 26 points in your first 26 pro games. The Buffalo Sabres had no choice but to call the kid up. Can you talk about when you found out, how you found out that you were going to play in the NHL regular season?
Yeah, so I got a phone call. I was on my way to a pregame skate, and we were playing that night in Rochester. And my mom and one of my mom's uncles, like one of our uncles, like driving to, and they didn't have a cell phone. They were driving to the game, and they were going to meet me for a pregame meal. So I was after pregame skate. So I was like, oh man, I got the call, and now I'm like outside with my hockey equipment, waiting for my mom to show up at the front door so I can tell her to, jump on a plane or turn around and drive home. Right. So my uncle couldn't fly. He had some medical issues, so he couldn't fly. So we were like, all right. So she literally turned around, drove all the way home back to Ottawa and watched the game on TV. So I had to fly to Minnesota to play my first game. So it was pretty hilarious how I just literally said, hey, I got to go to the airport. See you later, Mom. And it was like,
what was her reaction though, Royce? Like, what did your mom say, dude?
So she was so excited. She was so happy that, she's probably spent so much, you spend so much time in those arenas and everything like that. And so much money. And, we didn't come from a lot of money growing up. So, they had to sacrifice so much for me to even play hockey, like AAA or AA or tournaments or whatever. So probably, for all that sacrifice to see like her son's dreams come true, like it's got to be, a great feeling, for my parents. And, I'm a parent now, so I hope I get that same feeling. Just see your kids succeed, and for all the work that you put in to help them get there to where they want to be. It's got to be an unbelievable feeling.
100%, and I really, really appreciate you sharing that, buddy, because like it means a lot. Like I love to ask the guys, because I believe that, let's go back to the draft. We haven't even talked about that. But I believe that the NHL draft, and I'm watching the clock, buddy. We're close, but the NHL draft, I believe, is a family accomplishment. And the reason for that, Royce, is because we're 18 years old, dude, when we get drafted. You got to have 2 years in, but most guys only have 1 year of major junior. when they get drafted, right? If they weren't an underage pick, right?
Yeah.
So to that point, I mean, our families are with us, like hip to hip, through and through, all the way, bro. So, like, I just believe that it's recognition. This is what I think of the NHL draft, Rosie, and you can give your opinion after. I believe that the NHL draft is simply recognition of that player's family to say, hey, we recognize what you've done. Now you can come to the next level if your kid is willing to pay the price and work hard enough. But it's an opportunity. That's what I think of it, bro.
Yeah, like you look in the stands and you see the parents are crying and they're more happy than the player
the
himself.
Kids, the players.
Yeah. And it goes to show. I mean, like a lot of parents come from, like, it could be multiple kids, right? We had 3 kids, so I would go to the rink, watch my brother play, and then like play after, and he had to stay and watch play or whatever. So to be at the rink all day and go to Scotty's game or whatever. So we were always at the rink, and that's what you do as a parent. You're just driving around everywhere, driving to tournaments, and you don't know where this is going to go. You're just doing it, to make your kid as happy as he can be, right? So you don't end up in the NHL or in Europe or whatever, Olympic athlete or whatever. Like, you have no clue. You're just doing, what you think is best for your kid. And then when you get drafted, like you say, like you just gotta be, you're so excited that your kid is happy, and he's gonna go to the NHL, and he's gonna live out his dream. And it's like you say, it's validation for all the hard work they put in.
100%. I'm glad you think that way, buddy, because I just find that, like, family oriented players that, like, where their family is their number one support system, those are the ones that make it, man. It's the kids that have those dads that try to live through them, and you hear them yelling at them after the games, and this isn't good enough. And when it's that dynamic, man, and that's when the kids don't even, like, they might be still good that they get drafted, but they don't even last. They don't want to play. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I know your family was supportive like that. So I had to ask you because, like, I know the Roy family's really tight-knit group, right? So that's awesome, buddy. So now, dude, we're getting towards the time limit. What I wanted to talk about, like, past this, pretty much was like, I mean, Royce, you, like, I got to get the official number here, 738 National Hockey League games. Okay, so for the listeners. Now, the listeners are probably hearing that being like, holy smokes, that's a lot of games in the National Hockey League. But guys, it doesn't stop there. Derek Roy had quite the career overseas. And Royce, I mean, to play in the DEL, like, would you agree that the DEL is not, like, I know it's one of the highest paying, but is it one of the best, like, leagues in Europe, in your opinion?
I mean, there's a lot of good leagues in Europe. So I started in Switzerland, played in LA in Switzerland, in the first league there in Bern, and we actually won a championship my first year there. And then I went to Russia, so I kind of played all over. And then I went to Sweden, and then I went to Germany for 2 years. So 2 years in Sweden, 2 years in Germany, a year each in Switzerland and Russia. And they're all different in their own ways. But I mean, Russia has some unbelievable hockey players as well. Like, look at
KHL, right, Royce?
Okay.
KHL?
Yeah, I was playing against Kaprizov and guys like that, and Radulov and guys like that, and then they're coming in the NHL and lightening up the league. So, like, Kaprizov had 40-something goals this year, in the NHL. So there are really good players overseas as well, right? Switzerland was amazing, and what's good about going overseas is, like, you get to enjoy different countries, but also you get to live there. Like, it's not like you're just going there for a quick vacation. You're living there. You get to experience how it feels to be Swiss for a year. You know what I mean? Like, go up in the Alps for coffee in the afternoon.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, like,
that's so cool, Rosie, man.
Yeah,
the wife? What about the wife? What did she think of these countries, man?
Oh, she loved it. We got to travel everywhere, do things, and obviously the hockey's great too. Like, she loved, like, coming to the rinks and seeing the crowd crazy and everything like that.
I got a special guest here, buddy, that's got to say hi to you, buddy. You could probably guess who it is, man. The lady that was screaming in the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. You know what I mean, Rusty?
Go on.
Okay, listen, I'm going to ask her. Does this guy not look like the same he did when he was 16 years old in Kitchener?
I rest my case, man.
Buddy, Rosie, it's incredible.
Maybe a
But
few
you
more.
know what? Do
more
you
zits.
remember? But
16.
Derek, do you remember when we were in some bar in Buffalo, just as you guys had signed? We were with Mike Welcome. Do you remember that night?
There was a lot of nights.
There was a lot of nights. I know.
But yeah, we had some.
What about the Nathaniels in Rochester, bud?
Oh.
What a spot that was. That was like
What was the owner's name again? Stewie?
yeah, and it was like a block from the arena, right? So it was kind of perfect.
Yeah, buddy.
Like,
Yeah. Anyway, congratulations on everything. I'm so pleased that you have a lovely baby. How old is the baby?
thank you. He'll be 2 next month.
Oh,
What-
wow.
What's his name, Rosie?
Huxley.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Buddy,
Yeah.
do you think he'll be able to skate like his dad, man?
Oh, I hope so. He's kind of built like he's got huge legs. And one girl we're at the park the other day at the splash park or whatever, and the girl was like, "Wow, your kid's got nice calves." And I was like, "What?"
Oh, wow.
Well, dude, Rosie,
Like, what?
honestly,
Calves huge. So
you are built very good. And I remember, buddy, watching you walk around like it sounds very weird, but we played together for so long that like I feel that like I grew up with you a little bit, like in our teenage years into our early 20s. Like I felt like you were like my classmate, man. Like that's how the Sabres program was, bro. Like all those conditioning camps, the
Yeah.
Triad apartments,
for sure.
friggin' you know
Triad
what I mean?
Yeah, I remember staying there. We'd play like euchre and stuff like that, and wake up at like 6 a.m. and train all day, and then have dinner at night and play cards till whatever time, and then go back and train the next day. And it was like you kind of build some relations with some of the guys, right? We were all 17, 18, 19. We're all like going hanging out together, and then we played all together in Rochester. You build this camaraderie with the guys, and it was great. I loved it.
That's the word I was going to use, is camaraderie, team
Yeah.
camaraderie. The Sabres were very good at that, bro. Don Luce, like
Yeah.
those guys, man, like I got to give them credit. When I talk to guys like you and Razor and those guys, Jim Pizzatelli, Don Luce,
Jim.
even what was the strength coach's name, Royce?
Doug McKinney.
Doug McKinney, the Pittsburgh Steelers guy,
Yeah.
like those guys. I think I don't know, Royce. You played for a lot of NHL teams. Were those guys above the norm that I got to experience?
I think they're just really down to earth, great people, right? So it just made it easy to work hard for people that you like, right? It's like any job. If you like your CEO or whatever, you're gonna work just a little bit harder for them, right? Like, and they were just nice people, and they were just obviously knowledgeable in their fields, but they were just nice people, and they would always do everything for it. Like anything you asked, you'd be like, yeah, no problem, like it's all fine. And then you just felt, as an 18-year-old, you felt like, wow, like they really want me in this organization, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Royce, one of the last things I wanted to ask you, dude, was, okay, so would you say that Buffalo to you, like, it's like a second home, right? Like, do you guys like, and you're, because your wife is from there, like what's it like when you go back? Like, do you got people yelling Derek Roy? Because dude, like, it seems like the team that you were on was the last really good team in Buffalo. Like, obviously they haven't made the playoffs in 10 years. Do you get that type of recognition from the Sabres faithful?
Yeah. Like sometimes they're just like, people like double look, like, oh my God, it's like
Derek Roy?
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of people say, like, they're like, oh man, I remember like the glory days, and those were the
It
best.
really was.
Because some people were in their 20s or whatever, going to university or whatever they were doing. And, the Sabres were making these huge runs, and everybody was out like drinking and enjoying themselves and then getting immersed into the playoff atmosphere. Right. So I think that, those are glory days for them. And they just remember it as being like the most exciting time Buffalo's had, in a long time, besides, when the Bills have these wicked runs that they're on, and they're such a great team that, the Sabres have to elevate their game. Because I think when I was when we were great, the Bills were like not great, and now it's
That's
like
right.
trip now. The Bills are unbelievable, and the Sabres got to catch up,
Mhm.
and they got to get their fan base back, and you only do that by winning. So
Now-
if they, everyone's coming back for sure.
And I agree with you. Thanks for sharing that. Now, are you in the Bills Mafia?
Oh
Derek
yeah.
Roy?
I mean, people are like,
Yeah.
team. I'm like,
Yeah.
we'd go to home openers all the time. We'd like go maybe like 2-3 games a year every year. So it's just like I didn't like, how it is in Canada. Like you watch CFL and whatnot. And where I was from, I don't even know if we had a channel to watch an NFL game. Now it's, they have Zone, they have, NFL, like they have Sunday Ticket, they have everything that you can watch, fantasy football, all this stuff. We didn't have that. I didn't have that growing up. So once I moved to Buffalo, I was like, what's this NFL stuff? And then I kind of got right into it. I was like, this is awesome. This is great, cheering for a team and you're in your town, and you could tell how people are so so passionate about their Bills team, and it's crazy, and it's a great atmosphere to be at a game like that.
It really is. Like I had to ask if you're in the Mafia. How long did the Lincoln Navigator last?
That thing lasts, bro. I think I bought it. So we knew the one of the owners. I played with his son growing up of a Lincoln Ford dealership. So we got it for a really, really good price. And
It was a nice one, buddy. Remember the TV in it? That was like when it was new to have a TV.
I love that thing. I had it for 9 years. I want to say something like that. 8 years. Yeah, I loved it. I think I got a tear when it left the lot that day.
Yeah, that's awesome, buddy. Look, Derek Roy, I got to put you on the spot here, buddy, because I know I've gone over our agreement for time, and I really appreciate it. I'm being selfish because I have a legend on my screen. Would you come back for a part 2 on the Sheriff Podcast, my friend?
Oh, 100%. We got way more to talk about. We can get into story.
Hey, man, we have a lot to talk about, my friend. And sometimes I may do this on purpose just to be able to wheel in my superstar friends back into the show. But hey, man, listen, man, obviously you could tell I've been on the edge of my seat the whole show. I'm very excited to talk to you, buddy. Very excited to reconnect. I have your phone number. So you are stuck with me, buddy. I also wanted to throw an invite out to you. I'm doing a live show at Bottom Line Sports Bar on Front Street beside the Hockey Hall of Fame. And it's a great place. There's a bunch of people coming in like to watch the show. I would love for you and your wife to come if you can make it. It's Wednesday at 3:00. I would love to see you there if you can go, buddy.
This Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
3:00. All right. Well, let me check the schedule. I'll get back to you.
Right on, buddy. Awesome. I have to plug Bottom Line because I'm going to be doing some recordings from there. Woo! Well, maybe the recording won't come out till after we announce it. But anyway, buddy, I had so much fun. I cannot believe you look the same as when you were 16. This is incredible. People need to know the Derek Roy diet to be able to look like this. But I wanted to thank you again, buddy. It's been a blast. Like I told you, you're in it now, man. I got your number. You're stuck with the Sheriff, buddy.
All right. That's awesome. Thanks for having me.
I'm just bothering you. So, listeners, we're going to sign off now, guys. Woo!